Добрый день, меня зовут Валентина Дмитриевна, и сегодня у нас с вами вебинар по английскому языку. Сегодня мы обсудим с вами национальную кухню Великобритании, познакомимся с новыми словами, прочитаем текст и сделаем несколько упражнений. Поэтому, если вы подключились к прямому эфиру сейчас, присылайте ваши ответы в чат. С удовольствием буду их читать и обсуждать с вами. Okay, and let's start with a question. So, look at the pictures. What are we going to talk about today? Any ideas? So here we have some places with food, drinks. There are lots of tables. So that's probably some places where people can have food, to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, meet with friends, and etc. Okay, good. And there is another question for you today. So, what do you think the British eat? We need to choose the traditional British food. So, what do you think? Here we have some noodles, probably with vegetables. Here we have fish and chips, some sushi and borscht. So, what do you think the British eat? Choose a number of the picture and send the number into our chat, please. Выберите номер картинки и, как вы думаете, какая к нам подходит, и отправьте номер в чат. So, and obviously the British eat fish and chips. So here we have some fish, chips, sauce, lime, and that's the traditional fast food in Great Britain. Good. And there are lots of places where people can have some food. Do you know any? Do you know the name of these places? Names where people can eat some food. How do we call them? Well, look at this task. Here we need to match the words to the pictures. So, here we have 3 pictures. There are 3 different places where people can eat some food. So we have a pub, a restaurant, and a cafe. So we need to match the words to the pictures. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to think. You can type your answers into the chat and then we will check the answers, okay? So let's begin. Well, let's look at the answers. So here we have a pub. So here is a pub with lots of drinks. Here we have a cafe and a restaurant. So good. And the next question, the next task is here we need to match the words to its definition. So here we have English words and their Russian definitions, their Russian equivalents. So here we have pub, cafe, restaurant, steakhouse, pizzeria, and here we have the Russian ones: ресторан, pub, бифштексная или steakhouse, pizzeria, кафе. So let's try to find the Russian equivalent for the word pub. What do you think? For the word cafe, restaurant, steakhouse, and pizzeria. You can also type your answers into the chat and then we will check them. Okay, I'll give you some time to think, maybe 20 seconds, and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, let's check. So we have pub, in Russian is pub, cafe, which is cafe in Russian, restaurant, restoran, steakhouse, which is bifштексная or steakhouse, pizzeria, which is pizzeria. So that was the easiest task for today. And let's look the text. So here we are going to read the text and then do some exercises according to the text. Okay. Today we are going to read about places to eat in the UK. Познакомимся сегодня с вами с несколькими местами, где вы можете перекусить, поужинать, позавтракать, пообедать в Великобритании. Okay, let's begin. So, A. Sandwich bars. Most people in the UK work in offices. They don't have time to make their own lunch. This is why sandwich bars are so popular. In a sandwich bar you can buy sandwiches, pastries, cakes, soft drinks, juice and coffee. Then you may choose to eat your own lunch there or take it back to work. B. Restaurants. British people go to restaurants on special occasions like birthdays and anniversaries, or on business meetings. People like to visit all sorts of restaurants. Indian, Chinese, Italian and Mexican cuisine are all very popular. British food is very tasty as well. The dishes usually include fresh meat or fish with vegetables. C. Fish and chips shops. Fish and chips shops are England's traditional takeaway food. They serve fried fish covered in butter with fried potatoes. People like to add salt and vinegar, peas, tomato ketchup or curry sauce. There are thousands of fish and chip shops all over Britain. Locals and tourists all love to visit them. And D. Pie mash shops. Pie and mash is one of Britain's most traditional dishes. It's exactly what it says: meat pies with mashed potato in hob sauce. The first pie and mash shop dates back to 200 years. Today, pie and mash shops are very simple and cheap places to eat. So, and here we have task number 1. We need to match the places to the statements. Okay, once again, places. We have sandwich bars, restaurants, fish and chips shops, pie and mash shops. Okay, 4 places, 5 statements. Let's match them. Number 1. Both the British and tourists enjoy eating there. So, what do you think? Which place is it where both the British and tourists enjoy eating there? What do you think? Is it A, B, C or D? Okay, I'll give you some time to think and then show you the answer. And the answer is C. So, we can find it here. Locals and tourists all love to visit them. So, locals are British and tourists are tourists. So, they all love to eat there. Okay, number 2. Business people have dinners there. So what do you think? Wait, which place do we need here? Business people have dinners there. And the answer is B. Restaurants. Okay. British people go to restaurants on special occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, or business meetings. Good. Number 3. They are busy mostly at lunchtime. Okay, they are busy mostly at lunchtime. What do you think? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, and the answer is A. So, it's about sandwich bars, because there are lots of offices in the UK and people don't have time usually to have some lunch. Okay, you can eat food from many different countries there. So, what do you think? A, B, C, or D? Where we can eat food from many different countries, like Chinese, Mexican, Russian food. And the answer is B. So, restaurants. People like to visit all sorts of restaurants. Indian, Chinese, Italian and Mexican cuisine are very popular. Good. And the last question, the last statement is, you can find them all around Britain. What we can find all around Britain? What do you think? What is the most popular place? Okay, and the answer is C. So obviously fish and chips, the most popular place in Britain, because there are thousands of fish and chip shops all over Britain. Good. And let's look at the next exercise. Here we need to read again and list all the names of desserts, drinks, meat, dairy products and vegetables. So we are going to do only 3 today, and you can do other things like desserts, dairy products, Okay, let's read it again. Sandwich bars. Most people in the UK work in offices. They don't have time to make their own lunch. This is why sandwich bars are so popular. In a sandwich bar, you can buy sandwiches, pastries, cakes, soft drinks, juice and coffee. Then you may choose to eat your lunch there or to take it back to work. Restaurants. British people go to restaurants on special occasions like birthdays and anniversaries, or on business meetings. People like to visit all sorts of restaurants. Indian, Chinese, Italian and Mexican cuisine are all very popular. British food is very tasty as well. The dishes usually include fresh meat or fish with vegetables. Fish and chips shop. Fish and chips shops are England's traditional takeaway food. They serve fried fish covered in butter with fried potatoes. People like to add salt and vinegar, peas, tomato, ketchup or curry sauce. There are thousands of fish and chips shops all over Britain. Locals and tourists all love to visit them. And D. Pie and mash shops. Pie and mash is one of Britain's most traditional dishes. It is exactly what it says. Meat pies with mashed potatoes in herb sauce. The first pie and mash shop dates back to 100 years. Today, pie and mash shops are very simple and cheap places to eat. So here we need to find some drinks, meat and vegetables. Let's start with drinks. Which drinks do we have here? Which drinks can we find in this text? Let's try to find them. You can type them into the chat and then later I'll show you the answers, okay? So let's try to find them. So, drinks. Here we have soft drinks and juice. And what else? What do you think? The last one is coffee. Okay. And now let's try to find vegetables. Vegetables. Well, and vegetables are beer or fried potatoes. And meat. Let's find meat in this text. Okay, and the answer is fish, so we probably can call it meat, or fresh meat. Okay, and let's look at the second exercise. So, here we have a text about tea. We are going to read the text and choose the title for each paragraph. So here we have two paragraphs about the tea, and here we have two titles. Title number 1 is Tea in Different Cultures, and the second title is History of Tea. I'm going to read these two paragraphs, and then I'll give you some time to think which title do we need for each paragraph. Okay? Good. Let's read the text. According to legend, in 2737 BC in China, a Chinese emperor drank hot water that some leaves blew into his cup. That was the beginning of tea. it eventually became the national drink of China. Then tea got into neighbor countries. Today tea is still a big part of Asian culture. Okay. And the second paragraph. The UK was introduced to tea by China, and they developed a part of the day specifically dedicated to drink black tea, afternoon tea. The British in turn introduced India tea, where they began to enjoy chai, which is black tea full of spices, milk and sugar. Russia also brought tea from China and drink mostly black tea sweetened with sugar, fruits or jam. So, what do you think? Which title do we need for each paragraph? Okay, I'll give you about 30 seconds to think and then show you the right answer. Good. Okay, and the answers are, so number one, the paragraph number one is history of tea, and paragraph number two is about tea in different cultures. Okay, let's look at another exercise. Here we have some grammar. You all remember the verb to be, I'm sure, like the verb to be in present simple, am is are. So here we need to complete the sentences with correct form of the verb to be. So, do you remember? There are three forms of the verb to be in present simple. We have is, am, are. Okay, and there are four sentences. I, hungry, let's go to a cafe. Wilton's, the oldest restaurant in the UK. There are a lot of places to eat in London. Young British, fond of takeaways. Okay, let's look at these sentences and try to do them. I'll give you 30 seconds to think and then we'll discuss. Good, let's begin. Okay, and the answers are, here we have, I am hungry, let's go to a cafe. Wilton's is the oldest restaurant in the UK. There are a lot of places to eat in London. Young British are fond of takeaways. So, I am, Wilton's is the restaurant, so here we need is. There are lots of places are plural, so we need are. And young British are. Okay, and let's look at this exercise. Here I suggest you to choose some popular eating places in your country and write a short article about them and present it here. Probably not in the class, but you can send it into our chat and then I'll read them. Okay, so there are some names. Name, food one can eat there, and prices. Is it expensive? Is it cheap? So you can choose any places, wherever you like. То есть выбираем любое место, которое вам нравится, и кратко описываем его по этим пунктам. Okay, and here I have a question for you. So tell me, if you don't have any problems with our topic today, type a word green into our chat. So here we have green, and if you have some little problems, type the word yellow, and if you don't understand the task or text and you need more time or wants help, type the word red. Okay? And если у вас есть вопросы, буду рада на них ответить. Подожду буквально минутку и пишите ваши вопросы в чат. Хорошо, всем большое спасибо и до следующего вторника. До свидания.